It's some guy with a stupid fucking name.
Welcome to the BritCaveBlitz. Woo! Ba-ba-bum.
Welcome to another episode of the BritCaveBlitz. I am your host, Smith, which is at SkyDaddySmith on Instagram and Instagram only. Samuel, with me as always.
Yes. Hello.
No socials.
Never socials.
No, never social. You live in a box.
Exactly.
And today we're joined by...
Nick.
Why did you not say his name? You said my name. Why did you not say his name?
But you would say it.
Well, you thought I
don't
would
know
say
why.
it.
I don't know why. I was to say we're joined by, and I could, like, almost gesturing to you, be like...
It's like you forgot his name for a minute.
No. And to be fair, my brain debated, should I as a joke say Nicholas instead of Nick? But yeah, Nick, the Chiefs fan.
The only living fullback.
Ish.
And yeah, partially living.
Yeah, I was gonna say, by the looks of his back from this season, I don't know if he's going to be living much longer.
Like you said, Kansas City Chiefs fan. So today we'll be talking about the Denver Broncos. No, obviously we're here to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to carry on our little parade of the preseason, talking about with different fans about their different teams, to know what they think as a fan, how they think their preseason went, how they think their season's going to go, and what their expectations. We've gone from the Super Bowl winner in the Eagles last year to the Super Bowl losers in the Chiefs.
Thanks for that, yeah.
I thought I'd throw that in there. To be fair, like when we obviously had the end of season chat before the Super Bowl, obviously we was jokingly quite hard on you, as the obviously because everyone kind of low-key hates the Chiefs. But I think after you've taken that absolute battering, it's kind of died off and no one really cares anymore.
Well, I think it's now being branded as the end of the Chiefs.
Yeah, we'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see.
As if their worst result in 3 years was losing in the Super Bowl. It's not really that bad.
Yeah, it's still very difficult to get to the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
you did
at
that
least you're not
part.
the 49ers, you know.
If you're going to lose, at least you get destroyed, I guess, instead of a super close one where you're super sad by the end of it because you got.
Yeah, you kind of had like 2.5 hours to adjust to the fact that this is a loss.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I went into the halftime show and actually watched it this time rather than being really nervous.
Yeah, exactly. Looking up.
Obviously, there's hardcore Chiefs fans out there who are like, the score was this, but they put their second strings out by it. So, like, do you as a Chiefs fan still consider the full score the actual score, or are you like, it was clearly this? We had to try. It was a loss. That's fine. Whatever. Let's move on to next year, type thing.
It's kind of like a little bit how lots of fans of Manchester City and Arsenal are kind of pointing out how Liverpool didn't get a great points total. It's because they'd won the league after 33 games rather than 38.
Yeah.
And the Eagles had won the Super Bowl at halftime. So what happened in the second half? I mean, Xavier Worthy had a rookie record for the Super Bowl, and no one has spoken about it since.
Yeah, because it was all garbage time stats.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, those last 16 points were very important.
It was decoration on a turd.
Yeah, exactly. It made it look a lot more flattering to the Chiefs, shall I say?
If people had woken up in the morning and that was their first time seeing the result, they might be like, "Oh yeah, interesting game." No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was quite cathartic. I'll be honest with you.
You went into that game weird anyway because you don't like the Eagles as a Patriots fan. So.
I was like, this is probably the worst Super Bowl ever. Can they both lose? I was like, you know what? This was maybe the best result. To be fair, I might have felt the same way if the Chiefs absolutely destroyed the Eagles as well. So
I think as like a kind of neutral fan that dislikes both, you are happy with like 3 results, which is a really close game that's entertaining or an embarrassment for either team. And I don't really begrudge people feeling like that. I think I would go into it feeling exactly the same way.
Yeah. So anyway, done our little recap of the Super Bowl, but we're here to talk about coming up and the draft and how you feel the Chiefs are going to do this year. And we'll start that off with round 1, number 31, Josh Simmons. What are your thoughts? Was he a good pick?
He was pick 32. We've discussed this.
Pick 32. He was supposed to be 31, but you traded back, didn't you? Sorry.
Yeah. Do you actually, because we were discussing this beforehand, do you actually think that if you were stayed at 31, you would have took Jihad instead of a tackle?
No.
See, so we were discussing this. Was like we don't feel there was any point in that trade up.
I think Howie Roseman had spent the entire back end of that first round trying to trade up.
Yeah.
And he had got in his head that he needed to trade up. And so he traded up 1 place. It must have dawned on them at some point that Jihad Campbell was not going to go and they could get him if they'd stayed put.
Yeah.
But I think he just had the itch to do some sort of trade and we got a 5th rounder out of it. So I was fine with it.
Yeah. I said, like, in the grand scheme of, well, you said the 5th round of meat doesn't really mean much, but
I said it didn't mean much because he went into this year after winning the Super Bowl with still like 10 picks.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, but I'm saying he's still a player, isn't it? It just to me they were going to get their player anyway. But anyway, what's your opinion on Josh Simmons? Are you excited by him? He's obviously the tackle is probably what you needed the most.
I think there is a chance that they've got the best tackle of the draft. I'm going to come in hot with the big cake.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he spent all last year injured and didn't play much for OSU, and he was touted to be a kind of top 10, top 15 guy. So if he had a good season last year, there's no way the Chiefs would have got him. And in fact, a lot of the Chiefs' activity in free agency indicated they didn't think they were going to get their man. I reckon he was their man from the get-go, but they just kind of had the contingency plan of Jalen Moore coming in from the Niners. He's apparently well ahead of schedule in terms of getting healthy, as like he will be fit for camp, whereas they were saying that initially they thought it would be kind of like around Thanksgiving that he would come into the team, which isn't great for an O-lineman, obviously. So I'm excited about the pick. I mean, it could be an absolute steal. If he ends up being a bust, at least there is some sort of contingency plan this year, which they don't seem to do very often. But overall, I mean, I was pleased. It was the obvious position of need, and that's where they went. That's kind of, on draft night, if you're waiting for your team to draft a player of a certain position and they draft that position, you're going to be pretty satisfied.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously we took a tackle, didn't we? And I was not as excited to take a tackle just because we were so high up the board. It's not the sexiest pick, is it? But I've come to terms with it. I'm very happy now. Be interesting. We can compare notes between Josh Simmons and Will Campbell at the end and see.
I mean, I can understand like the limited excitement because when you're picking at 4, you want them to be an absolute worldie.
Yeah, exactly.
The worldies trailed off after 3. So the Patriots were, yeah.
We still could have got Gente, but I'm happy we ended up getting Trayvon.
Yeah, of course.
I was just like, I just really didn't want to take a O-lineman at 4. I felt like, what's the point in losing so many games if you're taking O-lineman? Yeah, it worked out for the better for us. But we're not talking about the Patriots. You mentioned he was injured, so he obviously slipped. I think that's the same reason Jihad Campbell slipped for the Eagles, wasn't it? Was injury concerns.
Yeah, it was.
So, and he's supposedly an absolute animal. So it seems like you both managed to pull away.
Yeah, that's the main method that the teams picking at the back end of the draft are going to get their man. They kind of, I do think that there is a bit of a theme where teams that are perennially in those kind of draft slots end up picking someone who they might have to wait to get a little bit healthy. But you the idea is that you're picking someone who has a high ceiling. There is just a risk that floor doesn't even fucking exist if they don't get healthy.
Tell them just pretend to be injured. Just pretend to be injured. We really want you. We want you to slip. Do you want to play for the Chiefs? Yeah, you snatch your ACL and somehow you never snap again.
I mean, like, just obviously comparing, like you just we're talking about Will Campbell and Simmons. The comp seems great, you know. Teron Armstead, of him going into the draft. I think
if he gets anywhere like that, Hopefully without the more recent injury record, but
Yeah.
that would be ideal. The thing is, they are the least glamorous picks. They are not the exciting wide receivers, or if they're mad, somebody going for a running back in the first round.
I think unless you're really into the sport, it isn't that, like Sam said, it's not that sexy and exciting, because now if I like watch, like I made sure to watch the like draft videos before we started this and everything, and the like pulling clips. I buzz off them now. Like, they're my favorites. I don't care. It was an incompletion. He absolutely rocked somebody and then still dove on them for a pancake as well. Fucking best.
Yeah, I think like you say, you have to be kind of like into the sport if you're going to get excited about them, because they're the only position that you can't score points on fantasy. That's one of the major barriers with getting excited about O-line, is that there's nothing for them. You can't even pick them. Even if you're playing IDPs, you can pick defensive guys.
You made a good point, Smith, where you were saying is like an O-line stats is based on keeping the numbers at 0 as well. Like the higher the number, the actual worse they've done. So it never looks.
If you don't get mentioned, you've had a great day.
Yeah. It's like the only stats that happen for linemen is negative stats, isn't it? It's getting beat, letting them get to your quarterback, basically. There's no positive stats, is there, for linemen?
No, exactly that.
So yeah.
I mean, it was Will Campbell who had the best quote about it, wasn't it? Who said that they have to protect the quarterback. If you're a defensive end and you get 12 sacks, you're going in the first round. If you give up 12 sacks, you're going to work for Amazon.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong working for Amazon or whatever it is.
It's a great line.
He specifically was talking about 1 sack a game, wasn't he?
Yeah.
1 sack a game in college, you're going in the first round. But if you give up 1 sack a game, he's right. He's right. It's crazy that, really, to think about. Well, I think he let up 0 in his final year.
Let's see how he gets on with those short arms.
This might be a bit of coping for me, but wasn't it quite a few people measured underneath what their original measurements were saying as well? There was like a calibration thing or something like that.
I think that happens a lot. I still remember a clip of like Mahomes saying like, I was measured at this for years, and then when I got to the combine, they like pushed the measurement through my hair. So they like, or he'd always been measured like just above his scalp because of his hair. So I think there's always things like that where there's like, we'll just put it like this. Yeah, that's about it.
Will Campbell's arms on pro day were measured at 33 inches, and at the combine was measured at 32 and 5/8 of an inch.
And that 3/8 is all the difference.
Exactly. The thing is, though, for like NFL teams, it is, isn't it? That's the sad part about it.
Because the teams like in charge of like the scouting and recruitment, it's looking at very detailed measurables, and they have thresholds, and they're like, we have data that says people with an arm length or whatever the measurement is are below this fail and above this succeed.
Yeah, it's risk versus reward, isn't it? It's like there can be people who with short arms who can succeed, but it's only 33% of them succeed. So is this person going to be in that 33%?
And then the other benign sort of measurable stuff that like just doesn't get talked about. Like for years, the Packers would never take a receiver that was under 200 pounds or some shit like that. And it's just like, look at the ones that succeed now. Like you need to move your threshold to move with the times. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, it's now like people who are wide receivers and over 200 and who are putting up great numbers are considered freak athletes, aren't they?
Mm.
Yeah, it definitely changes, doesn't it? We can talk about your second pick now if you want, which is a defensive tackle from Tennessee, Omar Norman Lott. My brain really wanted to say Norman as his first name then.
Well, he's one of those people who has a first name in his surname, so it's easy to get confused.
Yeah,
I mean, it made sense. There's been a couple of like departures on the D line. That's why they focused on it for the next 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I mean, like he was at Tennessee, I think, so I would have probably watched a couple of games, but I didn't notice much. D tackles don't always have the most highlights, but he seems solid, and he's got a lot of good reviews from people who actually know what they're talking about. So I'll just take
Leave
it
it to
as
them.
take it as a good pick. It's a little bit shorter. I mean, that's one of the things that you notice with D tackles. You think, are they going to be a massive 6'8" clobber? This guy's 6'2", so it kind of. I mean, I heard like a comparison where he's a bit more like a Kalijah Cansey who went to the Bucks the year before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Kalijah as well. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, and because I really wanted the Chiefs to draft him because I've heard about him so many times on like draft shows that I was like, well, he must be good. So I mean, if he's a similar build to that, obviously he's playing alongside Chris Jones if he's going to be starting. So you get more sacks by not being doubled. So it is an easier role to come into.
Yeah, well, I did say like watching the like little draft profile thing that like even on the plays where he's being blocked by someone who's clearly like good at the job or like gets doubled or whatever, he might be there for a while, but he still doesn't give up. And like when he gets in that close range, the fucking pounce that he can do is ridiculous. Like literally like a jaguar.
It's like I think it's like something that's always been focused on is that motor. Like that's what they always talk about whenever you hear people talking about Chiefs guys. It's all about motor and it's about effort and like not giving up on the play. Which, funnily enough, I mean, he plays alongside Chris Jones and he famously gives up on a lot of plays. So it might not be important for the veteran guys, but I think what they want from their new rookies is just like pure effort.
Yeah,
and he certainly ticks that box.
Yeah, he's not too bad in the sack department either for a tackle. 5.5 in 23 and 4 in 24.
Considering he's from Tennessee as well, at least he's like highlight tape that is being shared on like social media isn't where he falls over and accidentally knocks into the QB's ankle. Like our Falcons put up for the player we took from the same team. No, that tape, he looks good. He looks like a good player. And like you say, it never hurts your game if you're against somebody who is so much of a threat. They're going to give you a wide open door.
Yeah.
I was going to say his rookie seasons might end up being one of his best because he's playing against a very healthy Chris Jones. Oh, with a very healthy Chris Jones.
Yeah, and there's a big focus on rotation with the Chiefs as well. Like the starting guys, that they do bring people in and out and keep them fresh. And so that's the ideal situation for a rookie is that they come on and get the occasional cleanup sack to boost their confidence, stuff like that.
Yeah, and you're very, very well known for protecting your players from injuries and stuff, aren't you? That's what you don't take any risks. Best abilities, availability, and all that.
Of course, that's probably my favorite cliche.
No, I like it. Is there anyone else in the draft who you would like to point to, say you think could possibly be a sleeper for you?
Obviously, I get a little bit intrigued when the Chiefs pick a defensive back in the mid rounds because we've had so much joy doing that in the last few years. But Noel Williams from Cal, who was in the third round, supposedly had looked really poor in OTAs. I don't know really what you can take from that. I mean, they're not even wearing pads, and also it kind of is a difficult position to come into with the Chiefs because Spags asks so much of his DBs that like the playbook for them is so complex.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see a bit more from him. And then I think the one that people are kind of keeping an eye on because they thought we might take a running back a lot earlier than we did is Brashard Smith in the 7th.
Yeah.
Played for 3 years at Miami as a wide receiver and then moved to SMU as a running back. So obviously good hands from being in that. That probably, I don't think he'll see the field that much in his first year, but possibly kind of like a third down guy. We were using Samaj Pirine on third downs last year as like the passing back, and he got a lot of receptions. So it might be that kind of role. They're not exactly similar players, but just they play that similar role. So I can see that happening, and it's the one that people are going to be keeping an eye on in fantasy.
Yeah, I guess he's quite fast then, considering he was a wide receiver. Yeah.
He's a kick returner as well, so maybe that will be where he'll get onto the field, especially as with the anticipated rule change, kick returns should actually happen this year. Obviously, it comes out to the 35 rather than the 30 last year, so there will be more returns.
There were hinting that Xavier Worthy might be doing more of the kick returning and punt returning this year. he kind of dropped a hint.
I wouldn't mind seeing it because it's been 4 years since the Chiefs had a touchdown from a kick return or a punt return.
And he was one of the best, wasn't he, in college?
He was, yeah, when he was at Texas, he was very good at it. I don't think he did it as much in his final year because obviously he was, the wide receiver one, arguably.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's where Rashad Smith will see action. But he did get like 1,300 yards with SMU, 14 rushing touchdowns, 4 receiving touchdowns. So really good production in 1 year at the position.
Yeah, considering, like you said, he was receiver and then he's come in for it once and just gone for 1.3.
Yeah.
14 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, just looking now, he averaged 5.7 yards a carry. That's what anything over 5 is a good result.
And his long was like 71 yards. And I can't remember the last time the Chiefs had a really long rush. I think it was like Pacheco 2 years ago for about 50 yards. And it doesn't happen often. So it would be nice to see some explosive plays.
Yeah, hopefully not against us. You've done your draft. You've got your rookies. Is there anyone in your team who you think could have a standout year this year? Someone coming back from injury potentially, or someone who had a poor year, or someone you might have picked him up, you might have noticed in practice, or you've seen on the news that they've been doing something different. I think, for example, Tony mentioned a guy at the Giants who'd put on quite a bit of muscle, so he was excited to see how that would affect him and thinks that could have made a big difference.
Yeah, funnily enough, the thing that I'm excited to see is exactly the same as I was excited to see at the start of last year and didn't see, and that was because Rashee Rice got injured in Game 4. It was the wide receiver room as a whole because they revamped it, but we didn't see much of Rice, who was he was averaging 92 yards in the first 3 games, and then got injured by his own QB against the Chargers. And I mean, Hollywood Brown was brought in as like a 1-year rental, and he was injured on the first play of the first preseason game.
Yeah.
After listening to like Chiefs podcast that was concerned about his durability, and I was like, well, yeah, that was fucking proven right. I mean, overall, it's going to be interesting to see how the wide receivers perform when they're actually in the roles that they should be. Rice should be the number 1. Hollywood Brown ideally would be the 2, and that would put Xavier Worthy as wide receiver 3, which should take the pressure off him a little bit because we were having to put so much on his shoulders last year with so many injuries that it will be nice to have them kind of where they should be and getting the requisite number of targets.
Yeah.
I think overall, I want to see the offense be a bit more high powered. Last year it was this kind of, I mean, it would be bad to call it frustrating when we still won 15 games.
Yeah.
But 11 of them were 1-score games, and it was Andy Reid doing the whole, this is a 17-game preseason, basically, like to lead up to the playoffs. He saves all of the fun stuff for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I feel like after the drubbing of last year's Super Bowl, there might be a bit of a switch in mentality where it's like, no, let's put some fucking numbers on people because it like a little bit of that pressure's been taken off with the whole three-peat thing. Like, it might just be that the Chiefs end up being a little bit more exciting in the regular season. I want to see some crazy games, like even seeing a repeat of, like, you remember that Rams one in 2019 where it was like
57-55 or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's like 55-52. They were on the losing end of that, but that was like one of the best games I've ever seen. It was like scoring on every drive. Defense just didn't show up.
No.
But, I mean, we all watch the sport really. Obviously, we love seeing good defense, but we watch it to see touchdowns, and we didn't have that many touchdowns last year. It was a little bit flat the whole way through with that kind of added pressure of trying to make sure that you get to the Super Bowl. So maybe, hopefully, you see a little bit of pressure taken off and a bit more exciting stuff, particularly out of the receivers.
Well, that's good because I think you actually took away a question from Smith. He was going to ask you what's your thoughts on the complete wide receiver room.
One draft pick that we didn't talk about was Jalen Royals, who seems pretty exciting. I didn't even mention him when I talked about the wide receivers, typically because, I mean, we don't normally rely on rookie wide receivers, but we've kind of broken that by how much we relied on Rice when he was new and how much we relied on Worthy last year. Anything from him. And then, I mean, under the radar is that we've got Juju Smith-Schuster back in. So
yeah,
he'll be kind of, I can anticipate him kind of doing that kind of short and intermediate stuff, kind of sharing that role with Kelsey, because Kelsey ended up being our most targeted player last year, and he's fucking 35. Like, he can't do that anymore. Like, he's really good in small doses, and he was forced to be used in a big dose, and it didn't work particularly well. And I mean, it's not just with Kelsey. There's also Noah Gray might finally start getting a bit more use. I mean, the Chiefs ended up being like second in the league in 13 personnel usage, with 3 tight ends on last year. But it was more out of necessity because the wide receivers were all injured.
Xavier Worth is like a gadget guy, isn't he, really? He's not going to be a normal receiver. You use him in unique scenarios, and you can't mask that if he's the only real healthy receiver.
Yeah.
So you've got to be playing 13 personnel so you can kind of mask his like gadget kind of.
Exactly. It limits the offense so much when you don't have the talent at wide receiver. Ideally, most teams want to play in 11. That means that you've got 3 wide receivers that could be going out there doing anything. You don't know where they're going to go. Whereas if you're only tracking 1 wide receiver, and every team pretty much has a cornerback 1, you just stick him on him, and so you're immediately so limited in what you can do.
You saying that it limits the offense kind of brings us on to something we was talking about before the podcast started. We was talking about Pacheco. Obviously, first season with the Chiefs, when you won the Super Bowl, he had a phenomenal season. Everyone was talking about how good he was. I think he became quite a lot of people, even outside of the Chiefs' favourite player. I know quite a few people were saying that. And then, obviously, he had the injury, and then he kind of came back never the same. Do you think he's going to remain, like, he's not really going to come back to be the same player, or do you put that down to the poor wide receiver room, so he didn't really have much to work with?
Didn't have much to work with last year because we literally signed Kareem Hunt off the couch.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him in short yardage positions, but he's one of the slowest guys ever. And Pacheco he's not exactly one of the fastest, but he was still clearly limited by the injury. I don't know if that's going to continue into this year. They also picked up Elijah Mitchell from the Niners, who could be a bit of a sleeper. If he ends up getting quite a bit of usage, but then he's had his injury issues in the past as well.
Yeah, he had a really good rookie season, didn't he, with the 49ers, if I remember. I think he almost broke 1,000 yards.
That's what the Niners do. Yeah, the Niners just they get in a new running back, they set the world alight, and then they get injured. Pre-Christian McCaffrey, that was like all they did. If they can get something out of him, that'll be interesting. It's a really cheap flyer, like $2.5 million, so it's not exactly breaking the bank, just to see if you can get something out of it. There's never really, they don't have a bell cow back. Like, Mahomes has been the QB for 8 seasons, and he's never had a running back go over 1,000 yards. Now, obviously, a lot of that is dictated with how the offense is run. Those early years, it was all so pass heavy. It would be nice to see more in the ground game. I wouldn't get too excited or get my hopes up about it, really, because of the kind of lack of investment into it. They've not made a big splash. Like, even I would have been more excited getting in someone like J.K. Dobbins, who was out there. I know, again, common theme, injury issues, but at least he does break off an amazing run every now and then, and that's something that the team has lacked. And it might take a little bit of pressure off the passing game to be able to rely on a couple of those a game, and we just haven't had that. So hopefully, if Pacheco comes back in and he is RB1 and he's killing it, that would be great. But I can see it being a little bit more of a rotation and probably stuttering for most of the year again.
I mean, to be fair, looking at your depth chart currently, it's Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, and Rashard Smith. I would only see Elijah Mitchell as like possible competitor or splitting the snaps between them. I feel like Kareem Hunt, if you were going to use him, he's going to be used as like a blocking back.
He's good at blocking, and also he's really good in short yardage situations. So obviously that does take
third down
stuff. Like if you've got 3rd and 2, you're going to want to have Kareem Hunt in there. 3rd and 7, you're maybe going to want to have somebody who can catch a pass. And obviously he gets goal line action as well. Like Kareem Hunt was just come in and it's 2 yards. He's going to get you those 2 yards.
Yeah, I was just thinking about potential running backs that you could get at the end of the season, because I think Najee Harris's rookie contract ends this year, doesn't it? And he could potentially be a really good pickup for the Chiefs.
Well, he's on the Chargers for a year. Or is he signed for a multi-year contract?
Is he just signed
a year?
Oh,
yeah,
right.
He signed in agency for that. but
Yeah,
we don't know what's happening with him because he said a 4th of July accident that's
with the eye
either made him
injury,
temporarily blind or blind in one eye or something like that. The first reports were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a headline about that, but
I'm not gonna lie. If Njoku is anything to go off, he's gonna come back stronger. I remember when Njoku fell on like the fire on a barbecue or something like that, and the next week the next time he was out, he was like absolutely bald.
yeah, they've got him in to kind of like ease the transition into Amari and Hampton, haven't they?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine that like Najee's going to be starting, early parts of the season. He'll be getting a lot of usage, and then they'll slowly switch over.
Just on a quick look at like your pre-agency pickups, I don't know if they've just like highlighted these as like a top 5 type thing, but this is all the information that ESPN's giving me. Obviously, you've got Jalen Moore, offensive tackle, who you brought up before. Obviously, Elijah Mitchell, we just spoke on. Christian Fulton, cornerback. Do you reckon he's going to bolster that backfield, or do you think he's more there to be? He's an okay player. We're going to see what we can do with who we've got already, and he is a solid and reliable backup for what we need.
Well, I think it depends what the plan is for Trent McDuffie, really, because he really excelled when he's like playing in the slot, that kind of nickelback role, a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. And it just meant that the cornerback, since we lost L'Jarius Sneed, we haven't really had that typical outside corner, match them up with the best wide receiver kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't think Christian Fulton's that, but he is better than some of like the homegrown talent. Like Jalen Watson was injured towards the end of last year. Joshua Williams, who was, he did amazingly considering where he was drafted, but he's probably not quite so reliable. And also that like they did a lot of that 3 safety stuff. I don't know if we'll continue to see that now that Justin Reed has gone, but they're quite multiple in how they construct that backfield. So I just think having an experienced head like Christian Fulton come in can't be a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to set the world alight, but I'm glad he's in.
I know it's like really early days. He's currently down as the starting right cornerback, and second string is the rookie you said you picked up, in Noel Williams. So maybe it's something that like in preseason or something, Williams can outperform and beat Fulton for that starting job.
If those early reports are anything to go by, probably not. But then they mean nothing. It's OTAs. I wouldn't really pay attention to any sort of depth chart until after like they played the preseason games, probably.
And people can turn their career around. They can look like shit for ages, and then all of a sudden be the best player in their position, like Zach Bond, for example.
Not even his position. He had to move position.
Yeah, he moved position, but it looks completely transformed, doesn't it? It's such a weird, like, anything can happen, really, can't it?
Yeah. Like you get that with. It's normally between like changing teams and going into a different system. Like Trey Hendrickson was a key one of that. Did nothing with the Saints, and then has been the only defensive player the Bengals have basically for the last 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the only other 2 is showing up on this is Jerry Tillery, defensive tackle. I think came from the Vikings.
Chargers, I believe. I think it was most recently the Chargers.
Oh no, last season was Vikings, and then been a couple seasons of Raiders. Before they did 4 years of Chargers. I'm
mixing them up with Marlon Tuipulotu.
You've also picked up Minshew as the backup role.
That's just fun. Like we had Carson Wentz last year. Like
Carson Wentz isn't fun.
The plain toast, like the dry Ryvita of quarterbacks. So at least having Gardner Minshew in there might be a little bit interesting.
Say what you will about Wentz. That was still one of my favorite photos of last year. Him training wherever he, like at the Chiefs, and every bit of kit he had was from a team that he's been on. Like he's got the Infinity outfit.
Like QB2 at a team that already has like such a cemented QB1 it's got to be the easiest job ever. You've got to be ready to go in.
But as soon as you called up, the pressure would be so high.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have done well with that. In like they had that Matt Moore who came in a pinch, Chad Henne as well, who came in and won a game. You know, like you do get kind of like hero tales out of it when something goes wrong with Mahomes, but really they're the last person you want to see on the field.
Well, the greatest backup story ever is Tom Brady, isn't it?
I thought you were saying Nick Foles.
How Tom Brady was only started because
Bledsoe, yeah.
Forget they had Packers had it last year, didn't they? Like everyone was making jokes that the backup was actually better than Jordan Love because the only games in the first 4 games was with the backup.
Yeah, it was the Titans guy. What was his name?
Malik Willis.
Yeah, he did great.
Yeah,
Didn't he come in and beat the Titans?
He basically just went, "Oh, I know this defense. I will run through them."
Yeah,
Ran around them all.
Yeah, he started 2 games and won 2, so he has a 2-0 record. He had a quarterback rating across those 2 games of 124 across those two games. So yeah, go on, Malik Willis. Let's close our eyes. Nick is now somehow the GM of Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm blind.
For some reason, they must have done a bingo or something and you won. And they made you the GM. You want to make your stamp on the team and you want to get in someone who's going to make a huge difference to your team. Who would be your dream signing? Who would you sign if you were the GM?
I mean, going down the kind of the slightly more realistic path, I mean, I would want an edge rusher, like an actual closer, because that's something that the team has lacked for a long time. Had a few attempts at it, like Frank Clark was a bust, kind of. So I would go for that, but then it's going to be unrealistic to say the dream for me, which would be Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I think he would be everybody's dream player, wouldn't he? But no one's signing him at the moment. So.
Yeah, as a new GM, I've just looked at the books and we ain't finding fucking 40 million. So
yeah. Not that the books mean anything to you.
No, it just says bad on the front page.
Yeah.
You opened it up and your face started to melt like in there. Just close that. Let's do something else.
Turns out I can't read.
Yeah, I mean, it would be someone in that vein. I mean, I've already mentioned Trey Hendrickson. He's clearly upset with the Bengals. He's after a lot more money. I think it's more the years that's the issue with his contract rather than like the average annual value.
Yeah, it's the age and how long he wants to sign for, isn't it? Because he's already 31, isn't it? Even more than
that would be good. I mean, it is always kind of it's good to pick the last guy who got pretty much the most sacks, but then that doesn't always carry on year to year. But it would be that kind of position where I just want somebody who I know is going to get to the quarterback on 3rd down. Like the defense has done the hard work. They've got to 3rd down. They're definitely going to pass. Someone to go and rip his head off. So based on the track record and the kind of potential availability of him, I would say Trey Hendrickson.
I like it. Yours was similar, wasn't it, Smith? You was a tackle or a rusher, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like it was one of them for myself. I know we've tried to aim for that in the draft, but yeah, it don't hurt to add somebody who is clearly young and already fucking good at the job, so they're only going to get better.
Isn't that something that the Falcons have needed for about a decade?
Yeah. Yeah. I think they've recorded 1 sack in the last 10 years.
Last year, the second half of the season was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. It was so okay. I think I actually sent a message into the group chat to highlight that they got 2 sacks in a game.
I mean, I think it was the first year we did this when I was doing the stats episodes. JJ Watt had more sacks than our entire defense put together.
That's amazing. That's so good.
Not JJ Watt, sorry, TJ Watt.
TJ Watt, yeah.
The same year that like we watched the season, I was like, I didn't know defense, called him overrated for getting that massive deal.
And then he went and fucking outscored your team on sacks.
Yeah, but he took that personally, apparently.
He was the one person who listened to that episode. And he's like, I'm going to show him.
But yeah, no, I think that's a great shout, especially if you have him, Chris Jones, and then your new addition from the draft. That is a perfect situation of. We discussed this before. Of like, there's certain times you'll go against certain teams, and like, who are the O-line supposed to decide to double team on that play?
Yeah.
you would have to draw a play up where it's like, all right, you guys double team these guys on the left, and we will do a play action where the QB scrambles to the left, so they're running away from the right side, because that won't last.
Yeah. Where you just play 12 personnel and have only one wide receiver running. The backs double team one guy, and like all the tight ends. It's just everybody double teaming. It's just the quarterback and the one wide receiver who are actually playing. And all of the 9 people are just picking up a block.
We actually retained Charles Amenahu as well, who is like another one of those players where I just kind of keep hoping I'm going to see more out of him, because he didn't have a great year last year, and I think he was suspended and injured for most of his first year. So he's just like another guy on the depth chart at this point. But it's like, well, actually, I mean, he still has the potential to blow up. Surely, if there's like all of these bodies in that position, one of them is going to like take off and end up getting maybe not like a Khalil Mack game, but like some sort of amazing game where they rack up a few sacks. I mean, even though they fell off last year, I do still have that kind of residual hate for the Bengals, just because they hate the Chiefs. Like, it's just kind of, well, if you're going to hate us, then I'm going to hate you.
Yeah.
It's really tit for tat. But yeah, that would add a bit of spice to it. There has been a few movements like of players between the two in the past. I mean, Samaj P. Ryan was on the Bengals, came to the Chiefs last year, and then now has gone back to the Bengals. Like, what did we do?
He really wanted to go back. You love that though, don't you? You love a player who either is with you, leaves, and then comes back, or vice versa. Because you had this obviously the same with Juju Smith-Schuster, who came to the Patriots and then came back to the year after.
Is that not just like Andy Reid though? Like, when he takes a liking to a player, he'll always bring them back. Because I thought that was the same with like Kareem Hunt as well.
Yeah, I mean, there was a big time though, wasn't there, between Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, he was another one of the Chiefs' bad boys that was kind of given his marching orders, and it wasn't that situation was strange because it wasn't even because of what he did; it's because he lied to the top brass at the club about it.
Yeah,
because like then the footage came out, and it's like, well, that's not what you said happened, and that's why they cut him. It wasn't because he knocked someone out, or a woman. Like, it was just because he lied, and then they still brought him back last year, which was kind of
a woman is still a someone.
Yeah, I was just putting a bit of emphasis on it. I can't remember all the details of it, but I mean, he was so good in this like first couple of years that he just kind of fucked it for himself. But then he still came back. It would have been nice if he'd come back and got a ring, but then, you know, the Super Bowl happened.
First started this, one of the things we were going to try and do was like do a jokey thing of the week, and one of them was that I'd made up was the salmon of the week, and I'm pretty sure Kareem Hunt was the one who started that, where he just like completely leapt over the O-line and the D-line and full on salmoned into the end zone.
I love those plays.
That was why for a long time Cam Newton was one of my favourite players. Just watching him dive over the O-line and O-line was one of the greatest things ever. Tush Push has ruined that now.
I don't know, you know, Frankie Louvu was doing the dive. Just
to be fair, it reversed the dive, didn't it, if anything?
Didn't it get to the point where there'd been so many flags that they were going to award the touchdown?
Yeah.
Because
they had to award either half a yard or just half the distance to the goal line or something like that. It's like, we're literally on the goal line. If you do it again, we're just giving them the...
Yeah, it was...
But, now that we know that the tush push isn't going to get banned, I hope we actually see some more creative like solutions from DCs around the league. It would be fun to see if somebody works out like a bona fide way of stopping it. Not the Chiefs way, which was to put Chris Jones sideways in front of the center. Which is the most illogical thing ever.
I know, because you've got absolutely zero leverage.
Yeah, it was so weird.
At least they were trying something new. Well, shall we talk about the schedule then? Should we?
Yes, that's what we're up to. I was trying to think where we're up to.
We'll go into. This is pretty much going to be a lot of you, Nick. If you want to.
Okay. Essentially,
we're not going to read it, but we want to know what we expect, what you expect, not what we expect, what you expect.
Basically,
what you think
what
you're going to finish this season.
Yeah, as a record for the end of this season, and then if you say you're going to have this many losses, we just want to know who you think those losses are going to be.
I mean, I've barely looked at the schedule. I know there's a couple of games that stand out.
Do Do you want me to read it out to you?
No, I've pulled it up.
Yeah.
I mean, the standout games that I'm most excited about is obviously Cowboys on Thanksgiving. That'll be good. But yeah, in terms of like losses, I think there's a chance that we split with all the teams in the division. So record a 1 win and 1 loss against each team. So that would be 3 losses there. There is the annual trip to Buffalo, which is always difficult in the regular season. I mean, it is also difficult in the postseason, but the Chiefs always seem to win. So if we're going to lose one of them, I'd rather lose one in the regular season. So, I mean, that puts us at 13-4. I reckon there's still a couple more losses in there. I can see it being 11-6. I just don't. I'm not certain where all 3 of the non-divisional losses will come from, but there's always some sort of stinker.
So do you think 11-6 will still be enough to top your division, or will it be close with Broncos? I assume will be the team.
I think it will. I think it will be close. I think the amount of strengthening that the AFC West has done in an already strong division that sent 3 teams to the playoffs last year, I can see it being difficult. I think the Chiefs will probably. I wouldn't personally bet against them, but I'd like to win the division. That is, but the Broncos are going to be a serious outfit this year. You know, another year of development for Bo Nix, and the defense has just got better and better. It's probably going to be like I would say that's probably going to be the best defense in the year. Probably rack up the most sacks. It will be tough if the Chiefs are going to miss out on the divisional title. It's probably going to be the Broncos, but I do think they'll still edge it.
Can you see yourself making a Super Bowl? Is that a realistic expectation for you?
I don't think so. I just think that there's only so many years where the Ravens and the Bills can both miss out. I think that this is still going to be the top 2 competitors in the AFC, and it has to come together for them at some point.
Yeah.
Like you can't keep like these like kind of last second field goal wins. They're always it's like 51-49 every time. Eventually it goes against you just by laws of regression. Like there must be a time when one of them pips us to it, and I can see it being this year.
I was going to say, I think most of the league by about week 7 was agreeing with you there.
I mean, I still pulled it out, but I think what I said earlier about like kind of them going for it a little bit more in the regular season, I think that might mean being slightly more limited in the postseason this time round, and that might be the opportunity for one of the other teams to sneak in.
Yeah, and showing a lot of your cards.
Exactly.
What was quite impressive about the Chiefs is you all but look like a different team. So for someone to try and scheme against the Chiefs would have been tough, because you came out in the postseason pretty much very different to how you handled the regular season.
Yeah, and that's been the theme for like the last 3 years.
Yeah,
and I can just see it being a little bit different with the team maybe wanting to stamp a little bit more authority on the regular season. That kind of contradicts what I said about the 11-6, but I can just see it being a little bit more exciting in a way that it could go the other way in a few more games this year, and it might just see them take a little bit more of a dip.
Don't forget the Bills went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost, so it might never be the Bills.
Yeah, I know they are cursed.
Historically cursed. So
they'll be hoping for some sort of new stadium bump next year.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Do you see anyone, because you've obviously said there's 6 people you think you could lose to? Do you see any of those who you would consider yourself as an underdog potentially get one over on you, or someone you're leaning to? You're probably going to beat them, and everyone else thinks you're going to lose to them.
It would be nice to get a win quite early on against the Eagles, 14th of September.
Yeah, that's probably the one I was thinking the most. Is a lot of people will probably think you'll lose that game.
Yeah, I mean the week before is a game in Brazil, and having watched the one last year, that was fucking weird. So I don't think there's any guarantees of beating the Chargers there. So to start the season on 0-2 wouldn't exactly be ideal. Rock up in the Meadowlands the following week and probably win there against the Giants.
You never know. They don't lie a lot of points.
Apologies to your previous podcast guests.
Oh no, don't worry. Zach said the exact same thing every time.
and
He's like, "We're going to smash the Giants."
when it was the Giants fans, we gave their scores. Mitch said, "Oh, they'll go 3-14," and then we said, "You know, 2 of those games the preseason." And he went, "All right, 1-16 then."
Yeah, like 2 of the games he said they were going to beat were the Jets and the Patriots, who they were playing in the preseason. So yeah. So do you think you're going to beat Arizona, Seattle, and Bears?
Yeah.
By the way, just in case. Okay, and who do you think could be a slip up? I mean, I'm going to take it away from you because I feel like you'll say it, but you always have a slip up against Raiders. Is there anyone else who you? Well, I'm not saying always, but there's always a chance you have a little slip up against the Raiders. But is there anyone else you can see yourself having a slip up against?
The Chiefs always play down to the Raiders. Like even if they're absolutely awful, they still find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to be better this year. So would it surprise me if we lose twice to them? Not really. Rivalry games. It's just the kind of form goes out the window. And like the Commanders at home as well. I don't think that's an easy game. Depending on what we see from the Cowboys being in their gaff on Thanksgiving, they're not going to want to lose that.
I said I think it depends on which way you're playing when the sun is out, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. It'll be the late afternoon game on Thanksgiving. So hopefully Jerry will have worked out, because I think you can. He says that you know where the sun is going to be almost a year in advance. You can actually work out where the sun's going to be about 20,000 years in advance. But Jerry says that you can work it out.
Schedule all the kickoffs for 1 a.m. because there'll be no sun.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I think what he's trying to say is don't run your routes that direction.
yeah.
It's like stop drawing up plays that are having people doing outs when the sun is in its far right corner. Every play should be an in. All right.
I mean, looking at it, just because obviously what you said about that Washington game as well. Do we agree that's 2 hard games in a row against Washington on the Tuesday and then the Sunday of the same week against the Bills at Bills? Yeah, one of those is going to fuck you up.
That entire stretch is a gauntlet, because after it's Eagles, but then it's the Giants, which is a little bit easier, but then I think it goes Ravens, a little bit easier against the Jags, but then Lions, Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Broncos. Like, that's fucking difficult.
Yeah. And you've got you in between that as well. You've got the team everyone plays called the bye.
Yeah. Always good coming out of a bye week. Never lose on the bye week as well.
Yeah. Everyone's happy on a bye week, unless your fantasy team does shit.
As much as Vegas at this present time, until we see how Genty plays, doesn't feel like they're much of a threat. Max Crosby always fucks with Mahomes.
Yeah, he does. He gets under his skin.
Yeah, I think Geno Smith is going to do well as well. You got to remember, they've brought in Geno Smith, so they're definitely going to be a much harder team. It's just the Chiefs always make that game look a lot harder than it should.
Yeah, but for the first time in a while, it is actually going into the game. It's going to feel harder.
Yeah, and you'll probably absolutely destroy them now. It's only when they're really shit that you seem to struggle.
The one that really stands out was like 3 years ago against the Colts.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was just about to say you've also had one Colts, which was such a weird loss.
Yeah, and it was like it's one of those ones where, like, if you get beaten fair and square, Super Bowl being a key example of that, you can kind of accept it. But when it's a shit team and it's just for some bullshit penalty, and you're just like, I finally understand what everyone's on about with the penalties.
Yeah, and wasn't it like a decrepit Matt Ryan who was playing for the Colts? Well?
I think it was. Yeah, there was a punt return drop from Sky Moore that they took over and scored from, I think, and then there was a penalty on Chris Jones after it might have been a late hit on Matt Ryan or something like that put them in field goal range, and it was one of those games where you're just screaming at the telly.
I was screaming at the TV for a different reason. I saw the late hit on Matt Ryan and I screamed, "More! Show me blood! Give me his blood!"
Smith hates Matt Ryan. I don't know if you know
It
this.
fucking sucks.
He took you to the Super Bowl, though.
Oh, did he win it? No, fuck him.
Yeah, he won you an NFC championship.
Any fucking QB could take a team to the Super Bowl. They just have to buy the tickets.
Fair enough. We can move on to the quiz if you guys are ready, unless you've got Smith.
Wait for that.
No, because he
He stole your question.
preemptively stole my question.
Yeah. I think the best way to do this, because obviously you're a Chiefs fan and Smith's not, and it's all about Chiefs, is you work together, see how many you can get right. Would you prefer it that way, or would you prefer to go against each other? Smith, what would you prefer?
I'm fine working together because we're going to be teammates in that big fat quiz. So it's only right that we use this to sort of like practice and try and get in each other's heads.
And gel together, yeah.
Yeah.
So try and work some telepathy so you don't need to discuss over the call. Is that what we're doing?
I think I'm in Nick's mind. I can see the Chiefs Kingdom.
What's going on in here?
There's no flags anywhere.
Why is there so many people wearing black and white?
The ball hasn't been snapped. Why is that left tackle going back already?
All right, lads, you've had your fun.
So anyway, let's go.
Let's be teammates. Stop.
Who was the Chiefs player with the most penalties in
2024, I'm going to assume that was. I'm pretty sure, I mean, you can jump into it, but I'm pretty sure it's Jawan Taylor.
Is he your right tackle?
He is indeed.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree then. I would quite happily agree.
You was correct. It was Jawan Taylor. He had 60. So yeah.
Fuck's sake.
It's quite interesting that you was talking about him just before, and that was the first question. In what year was the Chiefs' first ever Super Bowl win?
Oh, I think it was Super Bowl 4, which would make it 74, I think.
What are we on now? What was the last one we just had? Was that 56?
56 was Bengals v Rams. No, we just had 59.
So
it's going to be 60.
Okay.
It's because it's going to be
the merge. That means was the merger in 65. So I'm going to say 69.
Yes, 69, an answer we can all approve on.
Okay, well, I'll give you the point because technically it was 1970, but it was for the season, and it was
the season was the start of the 69 season, but the actual Super Bowl was in 70.
Yeah, because I asked what year was the Chiefs won that. It's fine because you said Super Bowl 4. You obviously knew what you was talking. And who did you beat that year?
It was it the Packers or the Vikings? I think they lost to the Packers. I think they lost. I think they lost Super Bowl 1 to the Packers, and I think they won Super Bowl 4 against the Vikings.
Any input, Smith?
I mean, I'll have to agree with him. Just when he brought up the Packers, I was thinking, was that the one that they won? But if Nick's team, Nick knows his stuff.
He does know his stuff. He does know his stuff. That's 3, right? It was the Vikings. Yes. Okay, here we go. Who is the oldest Chief?
Fuck, I knew there was going to be something like this.
So like what?
I have gone down.
So that
is nothing to do with this.
So the logical answer is the oldest player on the Chiefs team, right? Which means it's not that. The oldest Chief. I don't even know who the oldest Chief. I think the oldest Chief would be Travis Kelce if that was the non-trick question.
The most annoying thing is, right, we have to get through this first trick question to understand what the next tricks are. So we kind of just have to like give up on this one to be like, that's the route he's going down. He's either going to continue down this route or he's going to backtrack to flip and fool us. So we kind of need to like
sacrifice yourself.
Yeah, sacrifice this question for a loss.
So Harry Potter can, the next one. So Harry Potter can go to Voldemort.
Yeah.
I mean, the team was named after, contrary to common belief, the team is named after, like, I think he was the mayor of Kansas City, who used to be nicknamed the Chief, and that's why it's Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
I can't even remember his name, That would be a good guess at this bullshit question.
It's not bullshit.
All right.
You said the fucking eagle.
I'm gonna guess it's Travis Kelce then.
Yeah, let's go the logical route for now. Okay, let's go Travis Kelce. Yeah, that's fine.
It's James Winchester, who's
Oh,
6
shit!
months. He's 6 months older than Travis Kelce.
Oh my god! He's the long snapper.
Yeah,
I should have known that.
Who the fuck remembers a long snapper?
He's the longest tenured chief actually. I should have.
Well, he is not the mascot.
which it also worked on double. That's why, because I was trying to see who was your longest tenured, so your oldest chief, and your actual age oldest chief.
And they're both the same answer.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there you go. What was your 2024 record?
2024 record was 15-2, unless you're including postseason.
No.
It should just be regular season because you don't get a record continuation thing.
You do.
The
Patriots went 17-1 or 19-1. Sorry, well, that time we lost to the Giants. No one's called us the 16-0 Patriots because we lost the Super Bowl.
So they had 3 losses that year in total. Then
no, but I'm saying they do include it, but this is regular season.
Season. Okay, 15-2.
Yeah, 15-2.
Okay, and who did you lose to?
Ooh, we lost to the Bills and the Eagles
in the regular season.
No, the Bills were definitely one of them because they were the first loss.
Oh no! We lost on the final day to the Jesus. I've forgotten. Right, that game counted for so little.
Yeah, that's why I did this question.
Well,
was it division? It would be a division game because it's the last game of the season.
It's the Broncos or Chargers. It wasn't the Raiders.
See, like before we decided this, my brain went to the two with the Bills and the Broncos. But then I remembered the blocked kick, so I couldn't remember if that was the first game you played, and then the second you were like, we're taking this.
I really should know this. This isn't even a trick question.
We've prepared so much for bamboozlery that we all logic.
Also, the reason for the who is the oldest, I was never going to bamboozle you with that question, but I knew Smith would have pre-warned you that I could potentially try to. So that's why the question was like literally, who is the oldest chief?
Pre-warn everybody, and I use the eagle now as the example.
Right, I'll say you were right with the Bills. So if you can get the other one.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. I am feeling Broncos, but I don't remember the Chargers beating the Chiefs.
I think it's the Broncos then, yeah.
Broncos it is. Well done.
Yes.
You pulled that out of nowhere. 38-0 it was. It was the Carson Wentz game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which, like you said, meant so little.
Yeah.
That you got blown out and no one gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Actually, no one cared. Who is the all-time Chiefs sack leader?
I mean, the instinct was Michael Thomas, but it might be somebody older than that.
I have no horse in this race. I have no idea.
Like
I'm gonna say I don't think you mean Michael Thomas.
No, Derek Thomas. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say because isn't Michael Thomas a receiver for the Saints?
Yeah, no. Okay, so my instinct was wrong. The person I was thinking of with my instinct was Derek Thomas.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've read that it's Derek Thomas. I mean, he's one of the only players that his number is retired, or that's because he died. So, but yeah, Derek Thomas.
It is Derek Thomas.
Yes.
Isn't it? Unsurprisingly, not Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas, who famously has never recorded a sack in his life.
Yeah, what a shit player. How many years has Kansas City Chiefs superfan Xavier Babudar been put away for?
Oh, we discussed this. I don't remember.
So that is the government name of Chiefsaholic.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was recently facing trial for a spate of bank robberies.
Yeah.
That he had used to finance his awful costume. I think that I've read articles about it because everyone kept going on about it. Because I hate the concept of super fans. I think you go there and I mean, I've never been to Arrowhead, but I mean, in terms of supporting a team, I feel like you're one homogenous group. You shouldn't be going there to stand out. And I just find those kind of people are pricks. I think it was something crazy like.
I'm going to say right now, there is 3 potential answers to this. I'll explain that. If you hit on one of those numbers because you might have read something differently, that's fine.
Can I tell you what I'm thinking first?
Go on.
So my brain's got 35 in it, but I'm pretty sure that's how long when we had this weird discussion and got confusion, that's how long the person was the mascot for and how long they were before retiring and everything. For some reason, my brain is thinking it's 16 to 19 years.
No, because I think I remember when I saw the article thinking that's longer than a murder sentence over here, and that would put it above 25. I think it was 30 or slightly more than 30. God, it wasn't 30, but it was over 30. 32.
Anything to add, Smith?
I feel like I thought it was bigger, and then after the conversation we had, I re-looked at it, and it was lower than I thought.
Also, I might have been reading like an article ages ago that was saying he faces this many years. I don't know what he was actually sentenced to. Go on, what was it then?
Well, I don't know what your answer is. What we're locking in?
For some reason, 16 to 19 is like stuck in my head that I feel.
But so maybe if you saw something more recently than I did, 16 to 19 might have been the actual sentence.
Yeah, it's one number though, so it can't be a range.
Yeah, okay. 16 is half of 32, so do you want to say 16?
All right, let's go 16, yeah.
Okay.
The answer is 32. The reason you're getting confused, Smith, is because he's been charged twice. So his 32 years is in total. So he's already facing 17 years, and he's been given an additional 15 to make it 32. That's why I said That's why I said if you hit on one of those numbers, I'll give it you.
We managed to dodge all the numbers.
Yeah, you split the difference. Like 15 or 17 would have got you the answer, and you went.
And we went with 16.
You took it away from Nick and went for the number in between the other 2 numbers, which is honestly impressive.
That's so frustrating.
What were the Chiefs originally known as? What was their original name?
They were originally the Dallas. Yeah, they were the Dallas Texans.
Did you know that, Smith?
I feel like that might be something you brought up in a quiz before.
I think actually, now I'm thinking about it, didn't we do a whole thing where
we did a whole thing of what teams used to be called?
No, but I read what the original names, and you had to guess what they are now, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And I think I said Dallas Texans, and Greg guessed Dallas Cowboys, and you guessed Houston Texans.
Yeah.
I think it was how it went. The final question, could it be a trick question? We're on 7 points. Which Chiefs player holds the single game passing record? Which Chiefs player holds the single game passing yards record?
Okay, so if it's not a trick question, are we sure it's Mahomes?
I'm just trying to think of freaking QBs before Mahomes. It's like my brain's blocked out any other names possible. The one thing that's standing out to me is obviously the time that Mahomes spent with Tyreek Hill. I'm assuming those are the games where passing, the ball would have been high statistically.
I think I remember them talking about it when Mahomes was in a game approaching 500 yards, and he's never got 500 yards. And I think there is a Chiefs player who has got 500 yards.
Who is that player? And was it actually Mahomes? I'm going to tell you now. He played in the last 30 years.
That kind of clue means it ain't Mahomes, because even though Mahomes has played in the last 30 years, you wouldn't divulge that detail.
No, I'm divulging that detail so you don't try and think I'm telling you it's like bloody someone who played for you in the 1940s. Was my whole reason, or 1960s, whenever you started.
They didn't even pass that much back then.
No, but was it the Eagles, Smith? We had someone who was like held the passing record from the Eagles in like 1962.
I think it might have been the Giants. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Philadelphia Eagles single is 486 yards and was achieved against the Giants in 1953.
Oh wow, that was
Exactly.
been a mad game. Okay, so it wasn't. I'm going to say it's not Mahomes because you know when you just remember something from a broadcast and it said it was one of those games where Mahomes was near 500, but they mentioned that he's never gone over 500, and there is a Chiefs guy who has gone over 500. So I'm going to say it's not Mahomes, and I'm just thinking that.
Sam, can you repeat the exact wording of the question, please?
Which Chiefs player holds the single game passing yards record? Or I can reword it so it makes more sense. Which player holds the single game for the Chiefs?
Right, no, that's fine. I was hoping that you'd worded it as "Can you name?" and my answer would have been no. Technically, we're right.
Yeah, no, I cannot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's someone. It's someone whose name I don't know. I don't know. There's not a great way of describing it. There's someone who's a fucking no mark who has the record, which means it isn't. It's not Alex Smith. It's not Trent Green. By my own logic now, it's not Matt Castle because that was the other one I was considering. But he's quite well known.
I was going to say, but he didn't play for you for too long, did he?
No, but I think he was up there. I think he had one quarter of a game.
You're trying to say you think it's like someone who is a nobody but just had one great game for you.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because obviously, like my knowledge, as in my active time watching the sport, is like 10 years. But then you do retain records, don't you?
Yeah, I can confirm it's not Joe Montana.
Okay, I would not. Well, I know his name.
Yeah, he was the 49ers legend, wasn't he? He won 4 Super Bowls with them.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying it's someone who's. It's someone.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a stupid way of wording it. It's someone whose name I don't know, and it's someone whose name is going to piss me off.
I'll tell you right now, he was not. He wasn't just a backup. I'll let you have each one question that is yes or no only, so you can't ask who is it.
A standard contract is about 3-4 years. So I'm gonna. Did he play for the Chiefs less than a full contract? So less than 4 years, less than 5 years.
Oh,
did he play for the Chiefs for less than 5 years?
No, I can't answer the question anymore because I already answered your previous question. And
so, did he play for the Chiefs for less than 4 years? And you said no.
No.
So he was there quite a while then.
You only get one question, Smith.
Oh yeah, I was kind of referring that to Nick.
You only get one yes or no. So I obviously I listen to loads of like Chiefs podcasts and stuff, and they talk about like players that I'd never heard of, and I feel like this has come up in this, and I think I think I know who it is, but I just don't know his name. I think I know that sounds dumb. I think I know who it is. I think it's around like the turn of the millennium, and I'm just trying to think if there's any question I can ask that will make it jump out at me.
Does his name start with A? No. Fuck.
No, because it's some guy with a stupid fucking name. Because I remember thinking
like Warren Moon.
Like no. But I remember thinking, what a dumb fucking name. When I heard the record, I've heard this discussed before. He's got a dumb fucking name, and I'm trying to think of a question that I can ask you that's yes or no that lets me know that I'm thinking of the right guy.
Was it General Booty the First?
No. Does he share a name?
I know what you're going to ask.
Does he share a name with a musician?
Yes.
His name is fucking Elvis. His name is Elvis, but I don't know his surname. I'm certain that he's the only passer for the Chiefs over 500 yards. He played. I think he was like a second one that they'd got from, like he joined from the Niners. I don't know his name. He's not. His first name is Elvis. That's not the answer.
Oh, here he is, Elvis, a Bing Bang Boom.
You're on about the right person.
Yeah, I feel like I've fucking worked it out, but I still can't remember the whole name. But I know it's.
Yeah, it's going to be really impossible for you to pull his name, and I always throw in these almost impossible questions, but you've done well to get it. It's Elvis Grabat.
Oh man, damn it! Yes,
Fuck.
But yeah, you got him from the 49ers. You're right. He just won he won a Super Bowl with the 49ers not too long before he joined you.
Yeah, because they got Montana from the Niners as well, and they got Gerback because they just could never draft a decent QB until Mahomes, obviously. Oh man, I was so close to that.
I was impressed. Well, you managed to get, we'll call it 7.5.
Okay, I'll take that.
Well done.
Yeah, that was good.
7.5. Well done.
God. If this is anything to go by, I'm really sorry, Nick. You are going to be, you're going to be carrying this fucking team. I'm not going to lie.
Your back is going to be even worse.
That was a good quiz.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your insights. It was actually quite a knowledgeable one compared to the chaotic chaos of last week's. It's good.
My biggest surprise was I felt you were really humble when it came to your record for this season, or what you expect the record to be this season.
Yeah, I think that the kind of riding high at the top, everyone always says about regression to the mean, and like 11 one-score games, if you divide that in two and say you get 5.5 of them next year, then that would mean that the Chiefs are the line would be set at 9.5, and I think the line is set at 10.5. So I think 11 is like a safe guess.
But yeah, like Sam said, thank you very much for being on.
Thank you for having me.
You don't have any socials that you want anybody to follow?
I can't even remember what my social handles are. I genuinely don't know, so I'm all right. But I might
the full government name.
yeah, just Nicholas. That'll do.
I'm gonna bleep your middle name, but way longer than James, so people are like, "What the fuck is his middle name?"
Like 15 seconds. Bleep.
But yeah, great having you on. Obviously, like we said, you'll be joining us for the big fat quiz before the start of the proper season and everything, so that should be a good laugh. Samuel, still no socials by the end of this episode as well. Big surprise.
Yeah, big surprise. Didn't have him at the start and still don't have him now.
Eventually we'll get you some. Yeah, so thank you very much.
Nice one, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Speak to you soon.
You need to sign us off, Smith.
I was going to say, what do the Chiefs shout?
It's Go Chiefs, or it's at the end of the national anthem when it's the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
32 years!
BritCaveBlitz!